I still remember the exact moment he looked at me, not just looked, saw me. And I'm not talking about the kind of seeing people do with their eyes. I mean, really deeply. Saw me. That was the moment everything unraveled and everything began. My name's Mara, and yeah, I married a man who thought I was someone else. It all started with my adoptive sister, Clarissa. Picture your typical Golden Girl blonde hair, designer, everything, and a mouthful of sugar-laced venom. She was the kind of woman who never lifted a finger but somehow always ended up with the credit. I, on the other hand, was the background sister. The one who made sure the house ran, who filled in for Clarissa when she didn't feel like being bothered. Like when she got tired of talking to her fiancé. Eli Whitmore, he was a self-made millionaire who lost his sight in a skiing accident. Brilliant, calm, well-read. And apparently incredibly lonely. Clarissa got bored after the first few calls. "He talks like a college professor," she said, waving me off. "You're better at this kind of thing anyway. Just sound like me." So I did. At first I told myself it was harmless. I picked up the phone, laughed in her voice, told stories I never lived. He had no idea. He just knew the sound, the rhythm, the smile, and the words. And I'll be honest, those late-night calls, they became the only time I felt truly wanted. 6 months passed like that. Then Clarissa dropped the bomb. "He's proposing next week," she said, twirling her hair. "Mom says you'll walk down the aisle for me." I laughed. She didn't. "Don't act surprised, Mara. He's blind. He won't know the difference. The dress was already altered. The ring was bought. The license had her name scribbled in forgery by a family lawyer who owed Mom favors. You either do this," Mom said, voice like ice, "or we all lose everything. Our name, our house, your future. And don't forget who took you in when no one else wanted you." That hit like a slap, so I said nothing, and I walked down that aisle like a lamb to slaughter. Eli stood there, tall, elegant, blindfolded by custom in more ways than one. His smile was soft, but the moment I reached him, he leaned in and whispered, "You're shaking. Are you afraid I'll see you?" I nearly passed out. But the wedding went on. People clapped. Champagne flowed. And just like that, I was married to a man who didn't know my name. That first night, he didn't touch me. He just sat across from me at a table longer than a train car, eating in silence. Then he said almost casually, "Your voice, it's changed." My hand froze mid-bite. "Softer now," he said. "Slower, too." Clarissa was sharper. You sound like someone who's lived through something." I faked a smile. "Maybe I'm just tired." "And your perfume," he added, like a final note in a song. "It's not roses anymore." I didn't sleep that night. Every room in that mansion was cold, like the whole house was designed for someone who couldn't see but could sense. No pictures. No colors. Just shadows and silence. He never accused me. Never yelled. But every word he spoke felt like a scalpel peeling away my mask. One morning I cooked for him. Not Clarissa's robot-style breakfast, but something I liked: soft-boiled eggs, toast, strong coffee. When I set it down, he sniffed and said, "This smells different. Warmer." I wanted to tell him everything right then, but I didn't. Instead, I started caring for him for real. I cleaned his study, walked with him in the garden, described the world with my own words. I stopped pretending to be Clarissa and just started being me. The weird part. He didn't seem to mind. He even smiled sometimes. Really smiled. But I knew I was walking a tightrope. Then Clarissa and Mom showed up. just burst into the estate like they still owned the place. Clarissa laughed when she saw me. "You're really playing house, huh? Making eggs. Tucking him in at night." Mom didn't smile. She just stepped in close and hissed, "Don't get comfortable. When he sees again, you'll be gone. Back to being our little nobody." I didn't say anything at first, but something in me cracked. I stood up, straightened my back, and I said, "He's not a fool. He's kind, thoughtful, and he sees more than either of you ever did." Clarissa rolled her eyes. "Cute. But let's be real. He loves me, Mara. He proposed to me. He kissed me. At least he thought he did. I never lied to him. I shot back. I only ever told him the truth. You couldn't be bothered to share." Mom just sneered. "Truth doesn't matter. Perception does." I'll never forget how hollow that sounded. That night, Eli and I sat on the porch, just listening to the wind. After a long silence, he asked, "Have you ever wished you were someone else?" I swallowed hard. Every day. Then he reached out just barely and touched my hand. "If I ever get to see you," he whispered, "I'm afraid I won't want to look away." I cried, but the next day he told me he was going to Switzerland to have surgery. A last shot at restoring his sight. I smiled and broke inside. What happens when the man who fell for your soul sees your skin and realizes it's not what he pictured? Weeks passed. Then one morning in a whitewashed hospital room, the doctor unwrapped his eyes. The world came rushing back to him, color, light, movement. And the first person he looked at was me. Just me. Before either of us could speak, Clarissa came storming in a wedding dress, no less. "Eli, it's me," she shouted. "She tricked you." Mom grabbed my arm like she used to when I was little, hissing, "It's over, go, before he sees the truth." But Eli didn't flinch. He looked straight at me and said, "You're not Clarissa." Tears flooded my eyes. I couldn't speak. Then he added softly, "But you're the one I chose." Clarissa stepped forward, voice shrill. "She's a fake, a black girl pretending to be me." Eli's gaze never moved. "I knew from the beginning," he said. "You placed the T on the left instead of the right. Your voice carried sorrow and honesty." Clarissa never knew either. Silence hit the room like a thunderclap. Then turning to me, he whispered my real name, and I swear it sounded like a prayer. That day, I didn't just get seen, I got chosen. We left it all behind the estate, the headlines, the shame. Started a center for the blind out in Colorado. He teaches music now. I guide nature walks. We live slow, honest days. No masks, no lies. And Clarissa, she married a politician, handsome, ambitious, until he lost his sight in a crash. Now she makes his tea, picks his clothes, describes sunsets she never cared to see. I wonder, does she ever think of me? Does she ever understand what it feels like to be loved without being looked at? So here's the question for you. If someone fell in love with the real you, the voice, the soul, the struggle, but then finally saw your face, would they still choose you? Would they still see you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know I'm not the only one who's ever been misjudged by their cover. And if this story struck something in your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who's still waiting to be seen.